So welcome to the conference. Transformative technology is something that we've been really trying to coalesce people around for nearly 10 years now. So we're incredibly excited to see you all here in one room. There have been so many initiatives all around the world over that period of time. We have people here from, Korea and Asia and Europe, and of course, all across America and Canada, and it's just so wonderful to see you all. So we're so grateful. And we thought what we do first is really try to define what we mean when we say transformative technology. This is something that if you're in the transformative technology area, you've probably been involved in these discussions, and it's why we wanted to start off this particular conference this morning with a workshop around those types of ideas, because this is such a broad space, and it's so inclusive. And one of the things that we really want to honor here at the opening of this conference is just how many people's shoulders we stand on over the course of human history. So if you look at this first slide and you think back to what transformational technologies were once upon a time, these were cutting-edge technologies. You think about people dancing around a fire and all of the rhythms in their own body, or being on the outside of the ring of people dancing around, right, and having the fire flick through at a certain rate, and very much doing brainwave entrainment on them, right? So in the middle, there's the little tincture bells that people ring together, those little symbols, right? Well, if you think about that, if you've ever experimented with those, usually the lanyard is such that you can cling them together, and then you can hold one to each ear, and there's a differential tone. There's a binaural beat that's often at the alpha frequency. Imagine how bleeding edge technology that was back in the day, right? It's just absolutely incredible. So all of us in this room are part of this human exploration for more. And it's been going on for, I think, as long as there's been a humanity. We've just been trying and searching and pushing and more deeply exploring inside of all of our beings and inside of really what it is even to be human, and to try to see how far we can push it. So a little bit of a nod to the past to begin with. Great, this is working now, guys. Thanks a lot. Well, let's come forward a little bit. Let's come forward into the modern era, where you have the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and even the 90s. This was transformative technology. And it looks really old, right? It looks like your dad or your grandpa's stereo or something, right? It's got all these crazy knobs, and it looks like something that, we might see at MIT, for instance, back when Mikey was at the Media Lab, and people are loading stuff into these crazy contraptions, and they're cutting the holes, and they're putting the knobs on and all of that. That's really what this space looked like for a really long time. But one thing that's important to remember is that there was a tremendous amount of effort, and there was a tremendous amount of trials, and there was a tremendous amount of science that went into a lot of those devices, although they look very, very, very primitive to us, perhaps today. They were actually incredibly advanced. Think about the leap from dancing around the fire to putting some sort of alpha brain stimulator on your head, or listening to, modern generated tones or the flashing lights or whatever. No longer did it take a whole bunch of people to induce some sort of experience. Now you could basically do it in the privacy of your own home, as long as you had a plug and some batteries and, one of these amazing devices. So we also want to give a nod, and there are people in this room who participated in that movement. There are people in this room who made some of the things that are actually on that slide, which I think is absolutely amazing. So a tremendous nod to you, and a tremendous amount of gratitude, and a debt, really, that we all owe you. And right now, I think we're going to need it. This stopped working again, so if you could change to the next slide. Thank you. This is where we're at. So if the last round of technology was version 1.0, we're basically at version 2.0. Looks a lot better. It's got a lot better design. A lot of the internal stuff is actually not all that different than what went before it. And a number of these devices are people who are actually exhibiting and speaking in this space, or they're people who are sitting around you out in the audience today. So this is really the state-of-the-art, cutting-edge way that technology looks today. And what we think is that we're on a powerful cusp, moving towards the next generation of this technology, which you can change to the next slide. And that is a much more flowy, integrative experience, right? So instead of having these various devices that are reading different types of biosignals and things like that, they're going to be probably embedded around the mask. So if you think about, this is an Oculus Rift, if you think about Palmer Luckey and his designs for this, 2-3 generations down the road, it's not hard to imagine those having all sorts of these sensors built in, being able to detect GSR, being able to detect temperature, eye movement, pupil dilation, the whole bit. All of these things that in the previous slide, they're there right now. You can go buy them, play with them, experiment with them, do all kinds of stuff with them. But they're going to be in this beautifully designed package moving forward. And we're coming to a point where all of the amazing visuals, all of the tremendous video game technology and the powerful, transformative people in video games, people like Genova Chen at that game company using powerful mythological storytelling to really change people's lives, to get feedback on these powerful changes that are going on in someone's life, to all of the incredible work that's being done in virtual reality. So you combine the mythical storytelling with the virtual reality, with all of the biosensing, and you have a transformative experience on the level of nothing we've ever seen before, at least in the human race. Who knows what else is out there, right? Or maybe out there. It's a big universe. But for all of us, this is a brand new thing. And it's those of us in this room, really, who have the opportunity to participate in the creation of this. It's like being around in the 70s when electronic music was new and being able to invent an entirely new form of music. We're really the ones that get to experiment with what this entirely new form, this converged form of these transformative technologies looks like. So we're so excited to have you here, and we're so grateful to have you here. All of you are world changers. If you could see the list, I was looking down the list of the attendees last night, and it's just such a remarkable group that's assembled for this. We hope that you can find each other and really sort of move ahead. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mikey.
And so this is where we've arrived, leaving off from where Jeffery left, at the very first transformative technology conference, the nexus point for everything that Jeffery just laid out and so much more. And Jeffery laid out beautifully this history. So there is this long-standing tradition, this knowledge base, these existing devices and ideas. But at the same time, this feels very new. It feels really special. There's been these consciousness hacking meetups in this consciousness hacking community that I've been helping to organize, and a lot of you have taken part in that. And the feeling in those meetups, culminating and increasing over the last 2 years, really, this feels like an amplification of that. And that is this energy, this excitement, this passion, this deep interest. I had the pleasure of witnessing this morning the pre-conference summit. And to be honest, it actually brought tears to my eyes on multiple occasions. To be able to see the depth, the honesty, the authenticity, the deep passion and interest that people had in exploring what is this? What is transformative technology? Because there really is this sense that there is history, but we are also on a new cusp. Please move to the next slide. And this new cusp, this new capability is coming from this incredible diversity. I feel one of the main themes that's happening here is about bridging. It's about bringing diversity together and creating something stronger than any one of those parts could be by itself. And you see that in the diversity of the people that are here, the diversity of the speakers, but really, this is about all of you. And I guarantee you, in this audience, we have everything from scientists to engineers, doctors and lawyers, all the way to artists, musicians, healers, meditation teachers. And what do we all have in common? I think one of the things that we all have in common is this deep, driving interest in developing new tools for the elevation and the evolution of the human experience, creating new technologies for the welfare of humanity. And for that interest, every single background, every single discipline can be applied. And so that's why we're here, and that's why there's so much passion. So thank you all for being here. It's truly our pleasure.